This works. Okay,
Thumbs up.
thumbs up.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026 at 1:30. The Sarasota Transportation Disadvantage LCB meeting is called to order. Since it is a new meeting, we can all once again please rise for its pledge.
United States of America, to the republic for which he stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, well, now with everyone's here time to where we'll go around the table for brief introductions. You can let us know your name and which agency you represent, and we'll confirm a quorum. Start with Brenda.
Brenda Gordon, Agency for Healthcare Administration.
Kristen Gallagher, Florida Department of Children and Families.
Aretha Gibson, Sarasota County Veteran Services.
Aaron Butler, Sarasota County Veteran Services.
Ellie DeForest, Sarasota Manatee NPO. Grace Sagowski, Sarasota Manatee NPO.
Seth Klein Breeze.
And Michelle's Breeze. Victoria Up the Grove at Disney. Hill, from Moore Environmental Health Department.
Welcome.
Tom Higginbotham, Department of Health, Sarasota.
Jill Hyatt, Career Source Psychosis.
It's me again.
And I am Brett Gottschalk from APD. All right. And do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
All right, perfect. We'll now open the meeting for any public comments. Have we received any public comment cards? All right. Moving right along. It is now time for agenda item 4, adoption of the minutes from the February 11th, 2026 Sarasota LCB meeting. Should receive those minutes in the email. I'll now entertain a motion for the adoption of the minutes.
Brenda Gordon motions to adopt.
Right.
I'll make a lot of seconds.
All right, we have Brenda first, Tom with the second. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The adoption of the minutes is set in stone. All right, moving next to our next action item is 5A, the approval of the 26-27 rate model. Seth, once again from Breeze, will present.
The slide for it.
No.
Okay, so last year, the amount that we were charging to the commission was about $50 a trip for a wheelchair and $30 for a ambulatory trip. That was based off of the provider we had at the time. They were charging us on a by trip basis, so it cost me a very fixed amount of money for every individual we transported. We started a new contract that came active in April. They took over a little early. Other vendor moved on, and we are being billed on an hourly basis now. So if I can, it was $56 a trip. Now I'm paying $56 or $57 an hour. So if I can get more than one trip in per hour, then I am theoretically saving money. So as I do that, our current, what you want to call it, effectiveness is we're averaging 1.4 to 3 people per hour, depending on the time of the day and where they're trying to go. So that tells me that I don't need to charge as much to the FCTD for each of those trips. So it's been cut almost in half. $16 for an ambulatory and $27 or $28 for a wheelchair trip. The intent is that our budget won't change a whole lot, but we will be able to provide many more trips for that. And previous to this, we were only able to charge one vendor to the FCTD. So when we would do this in the past, I could only charge my paratransit services through MPM to the FCTD. And then those trips we were doing with the MOD or the Breeze On Demand didn't get counted into that total. Now that it's a full service, I should see lots of efficiencies played into that. And that's where we're at with the rate model. Questions, comments, or snide remarks?
doesn't have to do with the rate model, just, I remember you saying like a month ago when we were going over the plan. How's the transition been with MTM? I know there was some like hiccups, or they weren't, there were some issues. Have those kind of been worked through?
Yes,
Kind of.
the transition was a little rough. We had some issues with vehicles when we got them. We had 39 or 32 vehicles that we had provided to them. We got 11 back that were operational safely, so we had to go through and resource some external vehicles to get caught up. We took some of our fixed route staff vehicles, gave them to them for use to help get the numbers back up, and then we've been working through the process of doing repairs to the paratransit fleet, and we're almost back there. We're going through, all of them are now active in the service, and I'm bringing them in onesies and twosies to do small repairs. You know, this one needs a new alternator, but it's still safe to drive on the road.
Nice, I was just curious, thank you.
The overall, the service is, we have a much higher on-time performance rate than we did in the past. And we have a better drop-off, like you call it a rate, but on an arrive-by appointment. Before they were getting there right at or shortly after that appointment time, and we're trending now more towards the 30 minutes early.
Yeah.
To 15 minutes early, which is where we wanted to be before. So all positive things.
I know you said the last time when we were meeting that you found that MTM wasn't probably reporting some of their numbers accurately, so I'm assuming those are kind of cleaned up.
Yeah, and you'll see that on, because it won't show in this quarter, but next quarter, you're going to see that I am providing fewer and fewer ADA trips and more TD trips. And that's positive because that's more control. We know what's really going on and where we need to try and source our funding from.
Thank you. Right, is there any questions for Seth on the 26-27 rate model? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to approve the 26-27 rate model contingent on the approval by the CTD.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Kristen Gallagher, second.
All right, thank you, Christine. We have it's up for motion. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the ayes have it. The motion carries. Moving on to our next item is 5B, the approval of the Transportation Disadvantaged Service Plan, the TDSP. The annual update, Tamara from Brains will present.
So it's time once again to look at the annual update to the TDSP. So just a quick review. This is our 5-year strategic plan that we're required to submit to ensure our funding from the state. So it is developed by the CTC, which is Sarasota County, as well as the planning agency, which is the MPO. And the LCB will review and approves the TDSP. And then we will submit it to the Board of Commission for Transportation Disadvantaged by July 1st for their approval. So the major update to the TDSP was completed in January 10th. We do the major updates every 5 years with the annual updates in between those years. And we've had 2 annual updates since then. And so today we are requesting approval of the 2026 TDSP annual update. So there's 5 sections in the TDSP. And in the agenda packet, you received the dated plan as well as a strike through underline version of the plan. But I'll go through each of these sections and just highlight briefly what changes were made into the plan. The first section, the introduction, we talk about public participation efforts and findings from recent activities and meetings that we've held. So we have updated that listing to include everything that we've done since the last update. as well as updating, the members of the LCB. So in the service area profile and demographics section, we've had a few changes, to our operations that we've noted in the plan. We're now operating the 78 Bay Runner, which was previously operated by the city of Sarasota. And as discussed previously, we have moved from MTM to VIA as our service provider. So those changes have been noted in this section and throughout the plan where it's relevant. We did not, we reviewed, but did not update the service analysis as well as the goals, objectives and strategies. Those still remain the same. And then in the service plan section, which outlines more details of the operation of the TD program, again, we've updated to reflect the current changes with the 78 Bay Runner and the contract that we have now, which we call a commingled contract because it combines on-demand ADA and TD riders, so that's reflected in the plan. We also updated the qualifying incomes for 2026. That's based on the HHS poverty levels, and we look at the 150% or below poverty level, and so that is noted in the plan. And as well as there is an additional coordination contractor that is listed in the plan. Seth just talked about the new rate model, so that is included in the TDSP, and we will note that any approval today would be contingent upon approval by the CTD for that. And then also include some findings from the CTC evaluation. And I believe that's coming up on the agenda today, so there'll be a little more information about that, but it does include a summary of the findings from that. Some just updated documents and appendices, including the vehicle inventory, the safety certification, as well as the details for the rate model calculation. The spreadsheet is included in there. If anybody wants to look at it, it's a bit of a difficult read, but it's in there. So the next steps, hopefully today with approval of the TDSP, we can then submit it to the CTD for their approval. And then beginning shortly, we'll look at updates for the next annual update, which should be 2027, not 2026. So with that, that's all I have.
Open the floor to any questions for Tamara. Seeing none, move for approval. We have somebody who would like to bring the motion to the table.
Brenda Gordon motion.
Thank you, Brenda. Brenda's motion. Anyone a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Victoria. Any discussion? See none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? See none. The motion carries for the approval of ESP annual update. All right, back to Tamara for action for the next item. We have the evaluation, I believe.
You skipped.
Oh, did I?
No, you just read the wrong name.
Oh,
Maybe we can let Tamara do it.
Or the wrong name. It's 5C.
okay. Oh, okay, my bad. The last item, 5C, approval of the community transportation coordinator evaluation. Seth and David will present.
Seth, you want to kick it off since you were there, I wasn't?
Yeah. So I think it went well. This year we got a little more involved with the evaluation and kind of take the lessons learned from the last 3 or 4 years and get that thrown in there. We had a little more difficulty this time around with our ride-alongs because of the way the system operates. There's not a central, they don't come back to a centralized spot anymore. So that took a little bit of finagling to get people out to places to get them on a vehicle to ride along, ride with people. I don't remember there being anything egregious inside it. Most of the feedback that we had on there was that our wait times or our call center. And hopefully that has changed with this new contract. We'll see how that all falls into place.
I just have to get somebody who made calls to riders, like to a person. Everybody was like not just happy with it, like, you know, you can tell not just they were like over the moon. Like it was amazing to hear what people had to say, like not just saying it's great or it's helped. It was like they went out of their way to say how life-changing or how much like it, you know, it was a lot of people who took it to medical appointments I had or therapies. So, you know, you can always tell somebody who hasn't ridden of like, oh, it's just great. It's like, you know, they went above and beyond and really wanted to like express how great the service was, how the drivers were. So I thought that was really nice to hear and wanted to pass along to you guys. So
I think that the thing that helped benefit that was Nick let me pick the people.
I still get one guy calling me thinking I work for food stamp, and I'm like, I can't help it. So.
I guess in my brief conversations with Nick and the team of the experience, you know, overall it went good, everything flowed well. Same as prior experiences like Seth mentioned, you know, the evaluation process can be a little bit cumbersome. It can be a little bit difficult to navigate. Looking to the future, hopefully, a lot of those processes and workbooks and stuff are being worked on, being updated. That would simplify the process. This year was a weird one also, like Seth mentioned, from the transition, because what you were evaluating was last year's services basically that was provided by one provider, and then you're going and doing the ride-alongs with a new provider. So taking that with a grain of salt, it overall it all went well. And from what I heard from the staff, looking forward to next year to see how the new provider is operating.
And it sounds like on that, and just to go, it sounds from when we were at the event that you guys are gonna have so much more control now. Or you will, that like, so I think that'll be a positive thing of being able to communicate with the drivers or.
Well, the big thing for us is that we weren't able to affect changes in how service was provided. I could just say, hey, you're not meeting this standard. And they would have to do things on their end to facilitate that. Now I can physically go in and say, oh, you're not meeting the standard. I'm going to change this parameter so that when it schedules these trips, it's going to affect the trips, and I'm not reliant on a contractor to try and do that for us.
Seth, on that same topic, now that you guys have more control over this, I know this was a topic that was has been briefly talked in the past. Are you all going to start looking at possibilities of using a different type of vehicle to provide the services? Not that they're all cutaways, or are we going to continue to just move forward with one? You know, I know that the providers they're using their vehicles to supplement the service, but are we still sticking with the cutaway as the one all do all vehicle?
So we are still going to require cutaways. The one thing that we were able to do with the old providers, they were way overfleeted. They were running 60 vehicles at one time. I'm now running all three of the services, the ADA, the TD, and the on-demand, and I've only got about 74 vehicles. So we're looking at that now. We've brought in a couple of Ford Transits to test how they work. And then a lion's share of these ambulatory trips aren't being done inside the cutaways. They're being done in the Toyota Siennas, the Chrysler, the Pacifica, the minivans. And then we've got some what they call their BYOV drivers, which are bring your own vehicles, kind of like an Uber type thing. And we're seeing a lot of the upgraded SUVs, Kia Carnivals, what's the big Chevy one? Not Suburban. Who's below the Suburban? Tahoe. Tahoes, Kias, and then they go through a process before they bring their vehicles on board. To make sure that we're not putting somebody inside a cigarette infested 75 station wagon, but. It seems to have worked out well, and the stuff that is being brought to the table from those BYOBs is. As good as or better than what I'm able to provide.
So is Breeze still gonna continue to operate or to provide what is it, 36, 38 cutaways? It's been so many years now, I don't know what the.
Hasn't changed the number, and the intent is to still provide as many vehicles as possible. They may not all be cutaways. We have some incoming this year that are cutaways, but they're a different version of a cutaway. So there's, the ones that we have now are high floor. These that are coming in are a low floor, kind of like a Gillig bus, where it's easy to get up into. It's all flat. There's no elevation change or anything inside it. So those will be nice. And I think this next probably 2 years is going to see what we're going to do for ridership, and that'll give us a good solid foundation on what we can do for vehicles. So I wouldn't see anything different in my grant applications probably until 2028 or 2029 to go outside of the cutaways.
Everyone always has great things to say about the drivers.
Yeah.
As well, like that's the one positive like all the time, so that's good.
We got lucky.
Drivers.
When we transitioned, we were able to take a good portion of those drivers and some other staff over to the new service. So there was some continuity there. And then the one thing that I'm hearing the most is that I don't have the same driver every day because of the way the system's set up now. That's probably one of the most frequent complaints that we get.
That's just kind of life at some point, like I go about, like you go.
I'm okay with that being a.
I was gonna say I would say that's more of there would be what they would like, not necessarily.
We're able to change the provider and that be the only complaint,
Yeah,
then I think you guys made out.
yeah,
Let's clarify that. That's the only complaint now. A
yeah,
month ago, there's
yeah.
all kinds of stuff going on, but we've settled down.
Excellent. Any questions for Seth or David on the evaluation? Seeing none, we make a motion to approve the transportation, the community transportation coordinator evaluation. All right, thank you, Kimberly.
That's right.
Thank you, Daryl. Any discussion? Seeing none, it's time to vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries. The approval of the community transportation coordinator evaluation is in the books. All right, next is presentations, and we're gonna move stick with Seth. Community, the transportation coordinator report. Take it away, Mr. Seth.
Told you I love hearing myself talk.
Yeah.
So total ridership, the fiscal year 26, you can tell is going up across the service. We are getting more and more people, and this isn't just my service, this is all of them. Fixed route, on demand, Breeze Plus all together. So we are still showing an increase in ridership. Our ridership by type is, the information shows you where it's coming from. Fixed route, still the big bulk of that. The fixed route includes our Siesta Key Trolley and the Bay Runner in it as well. And then my Breeze on demand is the green, and the Breeze Plus or the paratransit services that we provide are going to air in the orange. You're going to see that our Breeze Plus ridership is fairly consistent. We haven't seen a big drop or a rise in that, so fairly consistent. In the demand for it, we're seeing difference in the riders that want to use it. They're like cycling through, but the ridership itself is staying fairly strong. And then our 11% of the rides are the wheelchairs, and they go about 10 miles, and our ambulatory is about 12 miles. A lot of that comes in from going Northport to Sarasota, either going to the medical doctors or is that the right way to say medical doctors, or just doctors? Going to the doctors or going to places like the Haven for their day services. You see a drop in rides for January, February, and March. That is not uncommon, but the steep drop that you see here is not the norm. And part of that is because the ADA and TD trips, some of those are transferred over to the microtransit service. Because they don't need an ADA trip. They can use the microtransit service to get where they're going and do it that way. It's cheaper for them, it's cheaper for us. So we've tried to get the services to the right size and get the right people on the right service so that nobody gets left out. Told you that on-demand is going to continue to rise. I think right now we're looking at a spot where we're starting to level off. So we shouldn't see a whole lot of growth. I mean, I'm looking at about 5 or 6% growth right now over last year, which is okay. It's not the 20% year over year where we're running out of money. So this should be nice. We're at a level of demand that we can meet. We're at a level of service that is acceptable. So that holds true. The next 3 or 4 years should be nice for the on-demand service. Okay, this is the on-demand ridership, and this is done by zone. You'll see the Northport is still my biggest driver, then Venice. Northport, we've seen a drop in our TD ridership in that area. The waits or the ride times have gotten longer. A lot of that's attributed to the Price Avenue construction. Because you have to go around so much construction and to get anywhere in Northport. They see the 45-minute ride and they don't want to take that. I can't blame them.
Those are all rides by volume, right?
Say again?
Those are all rides by volume, so like one ride.
Yes.
One unit.
Well, it's by passenger, so a ride may have 3 passengers, so it counts 3.
So with your new model being an hourly rate, are you transitioning the way you're reporting?
No, what we try to do is we're still looking at a per passenger metric. That's the way we get to that now. Instead of a 1-to-1, it's a 1 to whatever my productivity is. So if my productivity is 2, then I'm getting 2 passengers for the price of 1. And it's cuts the cost per passenger immensely. And if I can get 3 or 4 in there in an hour, it makes it even better.
Just a question, Seth, I'm sorry, just to go on that, like, do riders have an option to have a solo ride?
No.
Okay, because I'm trying to think of maybe like or some of our population, like individuals with autism that, getting people in it could kind of throw them off. And just out of curiosity, I get you have to do what you guys have to do, but I was just.
Let's talk about that because there is an understanding that happens. And the intent is that for a majority of my service, it's going to be shared services between shared riders and shared eligibilities. There are individuals that we know have either a comfort level with or a dedicated person that they normally travel with. And when that changes, that their experience changes, and we do try to account for that. And that's really big for the Haven and the Loveland areas. So because those are recurring rides and they happen the same time almost every day, the chances for somebody else to get in that mix is low. And we're cognizant of that because that is a difficulty, but there is no option for someone to go, I want to ride alone.
Are the riders being, I guess, or maybe for a better term, are they being coded? Like if it's a TD ride, it's coded as a TD ride. If it's an on-demand service, it's coded as an on-demand service. I'm just thinking about like 5310 funds and their requirements on what you can bill against them for the vehicle.
Yep.
Say a vehicle was purchased with that. So
right now, we have 2 different ways to verify what the funding source is for that vehicle. When somebody makes a reservation, they have an eligibility. It's either going to be ADA, it's going to be TD, or it's going to be either eligible for both, or they're not eligible for anything, and then they're microtransit. I can take what their eligibility is and then look at their original location and destination location. And if it falls entirely within the ADA zone, then it's an ADA trip. If it starts out not in the ADA zone and ends in the ADA zone, it's a TD trip. So those are leveled out that way. And then in the logic behind the actual classification of it is it starts with the eligibility. So if you are TD eligible, but not ADA eligible, any trip you take is going to be TD. Even if it isn't an ADA to ADA zone, because you're not eligible for the ADA service. It took a little bit of Seth math, but we are there, yeah. And then the same thing for the time on the vehicles. If a person gets on here and then gets off here, now that trip is 30 minutes. But if somebody gets on here and then gets off in the middle, their trip isn't 30 minutes. And if you add the two together, they weren't together for 40 minutes. So we had to take the travel time and start dissecting that. And assigning each trip an individual's time on the vehicle, rather than just their trip time. Because if we started to add those together, we would get way too many hours of what we would call revenue time. So.
Just curiosity, trying to, like, maybe this is Seth math as well, if I'm asking.
Seth math is awesome, I'm telling you, nobody likes it, but it's
Is
fun.
there, just out of curiosity, is there like a range? So if I'm just saying Kimberly, Brett and David are gonna take a ride. You pick Kimberly up first and then I'm gonna be picked up second. Do I have to be, what proximity do I have to be of the pickup? To like, how do you decide, like, to put people together of like, before it could maybe start interrupting, like Kimberly getting from A to B, is there, you know, I know you're trying to probably piece people together, but is there like a, okay, he's only 2 miles out of the way or 10 minutes, so that kind of falls within pickup and drop off windows.
So
And David's pretty close to me, but
We had in the past, the way the software worked, when we first started doing this, you were able to put in like, I don't want to backtrack any more than 1.5 miles.
okay, yeah.
That has gone away. The systems have advanced a little bit further. And now because we do dynamic scheduling, like you right now are assigned to bus A. But in 10 minutes, you may get assigned to bus C because it's better for the system.
So it's dynamic, it's always
It's
kind of
always
trying to
changing.
maximize the routes.
So what is the allowable, say my trip is a 20-minute trip, it is an hour. You know, instead of it taking 20 minutes, it takes an hour, is that an acceptable?
So that's not a definable acceptable rate. The ADA service has a guideline or a standard that says that if I'm taking you on an ADA service, it's supposed to be equivalent to or similar to the fixed route bus. So if you're going from Northport to Sarasota on a fixed route bus, that's a 5-hour ride. Because there's two different bus transitions you gotta get on. It's not exactly the most direct thing.
So a TD or an ADA rider can be on they're going from Northport to Sarasota, they can be in that vehicle for 5 hours and that's the acceptable.
That would be acceptable by the regulation, yes. We
What
don't
is the
want that.
standard doing for us, for we?
So the standard is exactly that. The ADA service must have a service similar to the rider's experience on fixed route. So I don't want to hold you on the bus for 5 hours. I can. That's bad customer service. So right now, I think the longest trip I've had in a while is 190 minutes. And we are averaging about 75 minutes for the Northport to Sarasota trips. My average time on a vehicle is 26 minutes.
Nope, Kimberly has a question.
Sure, you probably explained that maybe years ago. But the difference between ADA and PD, say zones and the funding source, can you just explain that a little bit more? Like, how do you determine someone qualified for ADA, some qualified for TD, and some qualified for both? What does that mean?
So the TD qualification is a state level application process that we have to go through. And then to be ADA eligible, you have to go through a federal application process. These two applications are virtually identical. But I have to have both of those separate. So if you apply for TD, and the first requirement for TD is that you have to have no access to transportation whatsoever. So that part is met, and then we go into, are you unable to afford transportation, the poverty level? Do you have a disability, or are you over 65? So when those two are met, they can be eligible for TD. That doesn't make them automatically eligible for ADA. They have to apply for the ADA process as well. It's federal, it's the exact same application. In fact, they share the medical form. So if we get an application with both of them, we just use the same medical form. But the ADA service is only good within a small area around our fixed routes. So people that live east side of Northport, there is no ADA service for that.
It's the alternative to the fixed route, so that's.
Yeah, so like same thing with Venice, if you go south in Venice, you get down towards Englewood, there is no ADA service there. You get to
Do
the,
the TDs. which
You
is one
use the
special
TD.
one, like, okay, got it.
so an individual can qualify for both, can have eligibility for both. And then depending on where their trip starts and ends, will determine which funding source is gonna pay for it.
ADA is still 3/4 of a mile
Yeah.
in each end of the route, correct?
Alright, so here's, I hate to kind of, and may they're going, so I know you talked about the dynamics, so. My question when you get into there, so could a rider be on, like you talk about the man for 190 minutes, so theoretically, could they have gotten picked up? And then as the dynamics change, they're instead of being drop off two, now they're like, they could go, they could have thought it was 30 minutes, but then as rides get booked, people get added on, now that's an hour ride.
So.
You know
yes
what I'm
and
saying?
no.
Like you go of like, if it's continually changing, could it, somebody then books a ride 5 minutes into their 20-minute trip and now they're go, well, we gotta go pick this person up.
So the answer to that is yes and no.
Yeah,
We can't control things like traffic or vehicle breakdowns, and that may drive those longer trips.
yeah,
We do not want your communicated drop-off time or your communicated pickup time to vary.
right,
So we try to keep everything within 30 minutes of that original
Okay.
communicated window. So if I can get somebody and still get you within that window, then yes.
cause that was, I was
If
kind
you're
of.
out of that window, then no.
Cause that's what I was kind of asking, if like, some rides, if it's like, it may be, the important thing is the drop off time. From pickup, cause it's an appointment, so they could get a communicated. Okay, that makes that answered both.
And our longest trips, the 190-minute one is from Sarasota, the Haven down to Northport. And it was just a bad traffic day.
Oh, yeah, no, like if there's an accident, there's just things you can't control.
Yeah, sure.
This morning was great.
Yeah, school's out.
Yeah.
Have you looked at the average time from what it used to take MTM to what it's taking VIA now
Yeah.
to the travel? My guess is probably quicker, but
It is, we've dropped about 20 minutes. It was about 95 minutes was the average, I want to call it ADA trip, but the paratransit trip. And like I said, we're down into the 20s for the on-demand trips, mid-30s for ADA, and then 45 for the TD. And the TD is expected to be longer because there's not that federal requirement of, I gotta get you from point A to point B. It's a last resort service. It's not a service of convenience.
Thank you, Seth. We're trying to learn Seth math, it's kind of,
I know, that's the way.
Oh, yeah, we forgot about there's the
I
slides.
did see says 237% in the state, so that's.
Yeah.
That says math.
That's Seth math. That's the real Seth math. That doesn't make sense. So Manatee County trips, we see this every year. It drops in this time of the year because the tourists have gone away. The Bay Runner and the Siesta Key, the dotted line is the Bay Runner before we took it over. The solid green line is the Bay Runner after we took it over. That's staying consistent. Our Siesta Key Islander, or the Siesta Islander is staying the same. You can see where there was incidents with hurricanes, October of 24, September of 25, it drops there. But overall, it's meaning it's going through that cycle of, what do you call it, when? Seasonal cycle. Thank you. Okay.
any other questions for Seth before we move to Victoria for the FDOT?
Victoria just has an announcement that DOT will be or not FT, I cannot talk today, at PW conference next week. So the you guys will be there, our team will be there. Nice to see you again. And that is all I actually have. I don't have any.
Right. Any questions on the conference that it's closed for?
Yeah, we
taking
can't
new
register
people?
now, it's too late.
Register.
So I feel stupid even bringing it up.
You're good.
It's your goal.
Good. Moving to Mr. David Machado for the MPO staff report.
Nothing to report on the TD side of things. Pretty much everything that we would have to bring up as has been discussed either in the workshop or in this meeting. On the operational side, we hope to, in the September meeting, to finally have our AV system installed and stuff like that, so no more projector. I know you guys love it. Been nice having it, but it's time to retire it again. In addition to that, I don't think there's anything else. Grace, is there anything that we should bring up? Kelly, anything that? Good for me.
All right. Everybody's favorite time of the meeting. It is the ones around the table with any updates that you or your agency may have. Go to Kimberly.
Vocational rehab had no update.
Perfect.
Also,
Okay.
no.
I'll continue, also no.
All right.
Same, no update.
No updates.
Anything else to add?
So, yeah, so I do have open positions still in my service over there. General manager, I think there's an operations supervisor needs to be filled, and we're always looking for drivers. So if you look up VIA jobs in Sarasota, Florida, they pay fairly well, and look to see what you might be a fit for. If you know someone that's veterans that need jobs, please send them that way.
Perfect.
What do?
No update. Nothing for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know our scholarship portal has closed till end of July, beginning of August. So if you have anybody that's trying to submit scholarship, it's full right now. So it'll open back up 1st of August.
Thank you, David.
Oh, I've talked to
Nothing from APT. The time is, well, the next meeting, we will see everyone on September 9th here at 1 p.m. Other than that, this meeting is adjourned at 2:13. Enjoy your day.
Thanks. See you guys.
Yeah.